Right now, Rudy Giuliani is holding a double-digit lead over his Republican rivals in national polls. According to the latest Washington Post poll, Giuliani gets 33% of the vote. John McCain is running in second with 19% of the vote. Fred Thompson in third with 16%. And Mitt Romney is trailing in fourth place, getting 11% of the vote. But Mitt Romney is leading in the key states of Iowa and New Hampshire. Should that make him the actual front runner? Kevin Madden is the national press secretary for the Romney campaign. And Kevin, Chris Matthews is going to unveil the Republican hardball power rankings tonight. Make your case. Why should Mitt Romney be number one?
Well, I don't know if everybody really wants to be number one. I think there's a lot of expectations that goes on. What we're really concentrating on is not necessarily assuming this front-runner status nationally, but instead making the case for why we're running the best campaign in these early primary states and why we're going to win the nomination. Here's why I think we're running the best campaign in these early primary states. Because we're talking about the issues that people really care about. We're talking about immigration. We're talking about how we're going to bring down taxes and how we're going to cut spending. Changing Washington is what Americans really want. Changing Washington is what Republicans really want. So as far as where we see ourselves going to the nomination, win in these early primary states, gain that momentum, continue to build a national infrastructure, and that way when the nomination is, when we get to these February 5th states, we can make the case to a lot of these Republican voters that Governor Romney is the best candidate.
But Kevin, there is a concern that a lot of people may have, a lot of Republicans may see that if Mitt Romney gets knocked off in Iowa by, say, Mike Huckabee, that a lot of Republicans may think, well, wait a second, Iowa voters had a lot of time to make the evaluation, and Mitt Romney spent all this money and he couldn't win there. If Mitt Romney does not win Iowa, that is a devastating upset, isn't it?
Well, as they always say, if ifs and buts were beers and nuts, we'd have one heck of a party, David. So we really can't worry about ifs and buts. What we can do is control our organization. What we can do is go out there and meet as many voters as possible. That's where our efforts are focused. So what we're going to concentrate on is meeting as many voters in Iowa, in New Hampshire, South Carolina, Florida, Michigan, all these early primary states, meeting as many of them and making the case for the governor's record. That's all you can really do. And if we can be competitive in Iowa and New Hampshire, then we can make the case to the rest of the voters in those early primary states.
Governor Romney offers absolutely no targets whatsoever as far as reducing American dependence on foreign oil or reducing American energy. Why not? Why not set a target? And what exactly is the Romney energy plan?
Well, I think we can get into a lot of the specifics. I think what Governor Romney has really focused on is talking about reducing that American dependence on foreign oil. It's a national security problem as much as it's a economic security problem. We have to, again, realize that too many of these rogue nations in this country control how we get our energy supply. And instead, what we need to do is focus on these renewables. We need to focus on biodiesels. We need to focus on even some of these renewable technologies like nuclear technology to, again, reduce that dependence on forein oil. And again,
Kevin, what's wrong with setting a 10% goal, a 10% reduction in national energy use as Hillary Clinton does?
Well, I think that's a good question, David. I think as this campaign progresses and we begin to match each other's policies and we begin to match each other's the specifics of each plan, we'll get into that. I think what Governor Romney again is focused on is putting forward that idea of reducing the dependence on foreign oil, foreign sources of energy, to make sure that we have better economic security and better energy security in this country.
Kevin Madden, spokesman for the Romney campaign. Hey, Kevin, thanks for coming in again. We appreciate it.
Thanks for the invitation, David.
You're welcome.